Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good morning, everyone. On behalf of Group 7, I would like to welcome all of you to our presentation entitled What is MACC? The Role of the Commission Combating Corruption and Promoting Integrity. My name is Athirah Binti Ismadol, and together with my group member, we will be presenting today's topic for the MPU 3332, Integrity and Anti-Corruption Cause. Corruption is one of the major challenges faced by many countries because it affects public trust, economic development, and the effectiveness of government institutions. In Malaysia, Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commissions, or simply MACC, plays a vital role in preventing corruption, investigating corruption offences, and promoting integrity across both public and private sectors. Throughout this presentation, we will explore what MACC is, its key functions and responsibilities, the legal framework governing its operation, the challenges it faces, and its role in strengthening integrity in Malaysia. With that, let's begin by understanding the corruption. Let's begin by understanding what corruption actually means and why it remains a serious issue. Before discussing MACC itself, it is important for us to first understand the concept of corruption. In simple terms, corruption refers to the abuse of entrust power for personal gain. It can occur in both the public and private sectors and usually involve unethical or illegal actions to obtain money, influence, or other personal benefit. Corruption takes many forms. These include bribery, where money or gifts are offered to influence decisions; extortion, where someone is forced to provide benefit through threats or pressure; and fraud, which involve deception for financial or personal advantage. However, the impact of corruption extends far beyond financial losses. It weakens transparency and accountability, reduces public confidence in government institutions, and undermines good governance. When corruption becomes widespread, resources may no longer be distributed fairly, public service becomes less effective, and economic growth can also be negatively affected. In the long term, corruption threatens sustainable development and social justice because it creates inequality and limits opportunities for citizens to receive fair treatment. For this reason, preventing corruption is not solely the responsibility of law enforcement agencies. It also requires integrity, accountability, and ethical behavior from every individual or organization. Understanding the impact of corruption also helps us appreciate why a dedicated anti-corruption agency is essential. Malaysia's effort to combat corruption have evolved over the years, eventually leading to the establishment of the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission as we know it today. To explain how Malaysia anti-corruption efforts evolved into the establishment of MACC, I would like to invite Mr. Muhammad Rahimi to present the history of the Commission. Mr. Muhammad Rahimi, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ms. Athirah. To understand the significance of MACC today, it is useful to examine its historical development. The journey begins in 1967 with the establishment of the Anti-Corruption Agency, or ACA. Subsequently, in 1973, it was reorganized as the National Bureau of Investigation to strengthen anti-corruption efforts. However, in 1982, the agency reverted to its original name, the Anti-Corruption Agency. Eventually, in 2009, a major transformation took place when the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission was established under the MACC Act 2009. Consequently, the Commission was granted broader authority and greater independence in carrying out anti-corruption initiatives. Having examined how MACC evolved over time, let us now look at what the Commission actually does on a daily basis. MACC performs several important functions in combating corruption. First, it investigates corruption offences and gathers evidence for legal proceedings. Second, it focuses on prevention by identifying weaknesses within organizational systems and procedures. In addition, MACC collects intelligence related to corruption activities and trends. Furthermore, it advises government agencies on governance improvement and integrity enhancement measures. Finally, it conducts public education and awareness programs to promote ethical behavior and integrity. Taken together, this function allows MACC to address corruption from both enforcement and preventive perspective. While this function defines what MACC does, the Commission also requires sufficient legal authority to carry out its duties effectively. Therefore, Presenter 3 will discuss the power granted by MACC and the offences it investigates. Thank you.
In order to conduct effective investigation, MACC is provided with several legal powers under Malaysian law. For example, MACC officer may conduct searches and seize property relevant to an investigation. They are also authorized to arrest suspects under specific circumstances. Additionally, the Commission may access financial records, examine bank accounts, and monitor assets associated with suspected corruption activities. Where necessary, MACC can also require individuals to provide statements or information relevant to an investigation. Therefore, this power enables investigators to gather sufficient evidence and ensure that corruption cases are properly examined. Corruption offences investigated by MACC. With this investigative power in place, the next question is what type of offences fall under MACC jurisdiction. MACC investigates a wide range of corruption-related offences. This includes soliciting, receiving, offering, or giving bribe. In addition, the Commission investigates offences involving false claim, abuse of power, and situations where agents misuse their position for personal benefit. Another important category involves public officials who exploit their authority to obtain gratification or special advantage. By addressing these offences, MACC helps maintain fairness, accountability, and public confidence in both public and private institutions. Understanding these offences investigated by MACC naturally leads us to another important question. How can members of the public report suspected corruption? Presenter 4 will explain the available reporting channels and procedures.
Okay, Assalamualaikum and greetings. My name is Farhan bin Harun. So I would like to present how to report corruption to MACC. So public participation is essential in the fight against corruption. Therefore, MACC provides several channels through which corruption can be reported. So, number 1, individuals may submit reports via visiting a MACC office, contacting the hotline, or using the official online complaint portal. So, alternatively, reports may be submitted through email, written correspondence, mobile applications, or other approved communication platforms. So as a result, the reporting system is designed to be accessible, convenient, and user-friendly for members of the public. Okay, so next I will present about corruption reporting process. So once a report has been submitted, a structured process is followed to ensure that every complaint is properly assessed. The process begins when information is received and officially recorded. Next, the MACC officers will conduct an initial assessment to determine whether the report contains sufficient information for further action. If the complaint falls within MACC jurisdiction, an investigation is initiated and the evidence will be collected. Meanwhile, the cases that do not involve corruption may be referred to the appropriate agencies. So finally, once the investigation is finally completed, the findings are submitted to the public prosecutor for consideration of legal action. This systematic process helps ensure fairness, transparency, and accountability throughout the investigation. So although the reporting corruption is important, individuals may hesitate if they fear retaliation. Therefore, Presenter 5 will discuss whistleblower protection and explain why MACC remains vital to the nation. Thank you.
Thank you. Whistleblowers play a critical role in exposing corruption and misconduct. However, reporting wrongdoing often involves personal risk. To address this concern, Malaysia introduced the Whistleblower Protection Act 2010. Under this legislation, whistleblowers are granted confidentiality and legal protection. Their identities are protected and they are safeguarded against workplace discrimination or retaliation. Furthermore, they may receive immunity from certain civil and criminal action arising from their disclosure. Consequently, this protection encourages more individuals to come forward with information regarding corruption. Beyond protecting whistleblowers, MACC contributes significantly to the overall well-being and development of the country. MACC play an essential role in strengthening integrity and accountability within society. By reducing corruption, the Commission helps protect public resources and ensure that government's funds are used appropriately. Moreover, a transparent and corruption-free environment promotes investor confidence and support economic growth. At the same time, MACC reinforces the role of law and help create a fairer society for all citizens. For this reason, the Commission remains a key institution of Malaysia's governance framework. Despite its important contribution, MACC continues to face various challenges in carrying out its mission. Presenter 6 will discuss these challenges before concluding our presentation.
Now, let us look at the challenges faced by MACC. Even though MACC has done a lot to fight corruption, the reality is that it is not an easy job. There are still many challenges, and this can be divided into two groups, which is external pressures and internal realities. First, let us look at the external pressures. Today, corruption cases are becoming more difficult to investigate. People involved may use online banking, hidden accounts, or move money to other countries to avoid being detected. Because of this, MACC needs more time and effort to gather evidence. Some people are also afraid to report corruption, while certain cases require cooperation with other countries, which can make the investigation process longer. Now, let us look at the internal realities. Like any organization, MACC has limits in terms of staff, budget, and also resources. These limits can affect how quickly investigations are carried out. At the same time, MACC must remain fair and independent, even when facing pressure from the public or other parties. In addition, as technology changes very quickly, MACC officers need to keep learning new skills and methods to stay effective. So, I would say fighting corruption is not just about catching wrongdoers. It is also requires enough support, better resources, and cooperation from the public. By working together, we can help MACC continue its effort to build a more honest and transparent Malaysia. As we come to the end of our presentation, one thing is clear: corruption is not just a legal issue. Its impact goes far beyond breaking the law. Corruption can slow economic growth, reduce public confidence in institutions, and affect the quality of services that people rely on every day. Throughout this presentation, we have seen how MACC plays a vital role through investigation, prevention, enforcement, education, and public engagement. These efforts help strengthen transparency, accountability, and integrity within society. However, fighting corruption is not something MACC can do alone. It requires the support and commitment of everyone in society. Whether we are students, employees, professionals, or future leaders, we all share the responsibility of promoting ethical behavior and rejecting corrupt practices in our daily life. In conclusion, building a corruption-free Malaysia requires collective effort. By embracing integrity and accountability, we can contribute towards a stronger and more trustworthy nation. That's all presentation from our group. Thank you for your attention.